Thank you to Mrs. Brown's class for lining up so nicely and quietly. We appreciate it. Ms. Brown, you're going to come on up and greet your kids as they hear their name. Wait for your name, baby. When you hear your name, you're going to come up, okay? All right. All right, first up in Mrs. Brown's class, we have Kymir Edmond. Kymir is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, and science. Next up, we have Ariana Funye. Ariana is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, dynamic dolphin, and good citizenship. Next up, we have Tahira Green Fife. Tahira is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, and dynamic dolphin. Tinley Hart. Tinley is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, and dynamic dolphin. Helen Hernandez. Helen is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, good citizenship, and PE. Dariah Holden. Dariah is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, and dynamic dolphin. Lily Hover. Lily is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, dynamic dolphin, and good citizenship. Skylar Jackson. Skylar is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, dynamic dolphin, and good citizenship. Next up, we have Raydell Arias. Raydell is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, and science. Next up, we have Tasman Frost. Tasman is receiving certificates in dynamic dolphin and a certificate of completion. Next up, we have Madison Heald. Madison is receiving a certificate of completion. Jaden White. Jaden is receiving certificates in social studies, science, and dynamic dolphin. Teresa Sparks. Teresa is receiving certificates in math, social studies, and dynamic dolphin. Aiden Stevens. Aiden is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, and dynamic dolphin. Leah Cohn. Leah is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, and dynamic dolphin. Carlia Leggett. Carlia is receiving certificates in reading, math, writing, social studies, and science. Good job. Excellent job to Mrs. Brown's class. Awesome. Good job to Mrs. Brown's class. Next up will be Mrs. Heller's class. If you guys want to stand up and line up and walk nicely, that way. Stay there. Thank you to Mrs. Brown's class again for sitting quietly and nicely, and thank you to Mrs. Hell's class. All right, first up we have Severina Maldonado. Severina is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, dynamic dolphin, and good citizenship. Next up, we have Noah Harris. Noah is receiving certificates in reading, social studies, science, dynamic dolphin, and good citizenship. Aiden Turner. Aiden is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, and good citizenship. Jayceon McGriff. Jayceon is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, and good citizenship. Sage Woods. Sage is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, and good citizenship. Darren Moore. Darren is receiving certificates in math, social studies, science, and good citizenship. Legend Rodriguez. Legend is receiving certificates in social studies, science, and good citizenship. Callie Burquist. Callie is receiving certificates in social studies, science, and good citizenship. Carly Strickland. Carly is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, and science. Malaysia Reed. Malaysia is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, and science. Samaya Gatson. Samaya is receiving certificates in math, social studies, and science.
Okay, Maya.
Cash Harvey. Jasmine Blackburn. Jasmine is receiving certificates in social studies and science. Logan Scott. Zachariah Harless. Zachariah is receiving certificates in science and social studies. And last but not least, are you Miss Heavenly? No? All right, next up we have Josiah Allman. Josiah is receiving certificates in social studies and science. Thank you to Mrs. Heller's class. Great work. Awesome. And thank you to Mrs. Lett's class for lining up so quietly. I didn't even hear you. Excellent job, Mrs. Heller's class. All right, first up in Mrs. Lett's class, we have Halia Chicas. Halia is receiving certificates in social studies, science, and dynamic dolphin. Next up, we have Kwanzaa Clark. Kwanzaa is receiving certificates in math, social studies, science, and dynamic dolphin. Jalen Flowers. Jalen is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, and dynamic dolphin. Next up, we have Calicia Harris. Calicia is receiving certificates in reading, math, writing, social studies, science, dynamic dolphin, and good citizenship. Mrs. Hellers, first grade class, give me 5, please. Zachariah. All right, next up we have John Heaton. John is receiving certificates in social studies, science, and dynamic dolphin. Next up we have Caden Jackson. Caden is receiving certificates in social studies, science, dynamic dolphin, and good citizenship. Great job. Raylan Jones. Raylan is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, and dynamic dolphin. Alea Mackey. Alea is receiving certificates in social studies, science, and dynamic dolphin. Alea Rimmer. Alea is receiving certificates in social studies. Jadiel Rowe. Jadiel Rowe. Jadiel is receiving certificates in social studies and science. Serenity Singleton. Serenity is receiving certificates in math, social studies, science, dynamic dolphin, and good citizenship. And last but not least, we have Miss Autumn Tucker. Autumn is receiving certificates in reading, writing, social studies, science, dynamic dolphin, and good citizenship. Excellent job. Let's give Miss Let's class a round of applause. Miss Johnson, I think you'll be next. No, I'm sorry, Miss Lisa. Miss Forbes class, sorry. Yes, Miss Let's class, wait there 1 second. Beautiful. Thank you, Ms. Let's class. All right, thank you to Mrs. Forbes class. Are we ready? Yes? All right, let's get started. And thank you to Mrs. Let's class for returning to your seats nicely and quietly. First up, we have Miss Sophia Bridges. Sophia is receiving certificates in science, social studies, dynamic dolphin, and good citizenship. Good job. Next up, we have Eli Bullock. Eli is receiving certificates in math, science, social studies, and dynamic dolphin. Asim Shropshire. Asim is receiving certificates in dynamic dolphin and good citizenship. Keziah Delaney. Keziah is receiving certificates in math, science, social studies, dynamic dolphin, and good citizenship. Jasmine DeLeon. Jasmine is receiving certificates in reading, math, science, social studies, dynamic dolphin, and good citizenship. Jeremiah Foster. Jeremiah is receiving certificates in math, science, social studies, and dynamic dolphin. Brianna Fuller. Brianna is receiving certificates in reading, math, science, social studies, and dynamic dolphin. Bradley Gonzalez. Bradley is receiving certificates in math, science, social studies, dynamic dolphin, and good citizenship. Javiana McLeod. Javiana is receiving certificates in math, science, and social studies. Javanya McLeod. Javanya is receiving certificates in math, science, social studies, and dynamic dolphin. Breasia Nixon. Breasia is receiving certificates in science, social studies, and dynamic dolphin. Tiana Nixon. Tiana is receiving certificates in math, science, social studies, and dynamic dolphin. Ava Hollins. Ava is receiving a certificate in dynamic dolphin. Juan Carlos Valvidez. Charles Serlick. Charles is receiving certificates in reading, math, science, and dynamic dolphin. Nyari Davis. Nyari is receiving certificates in science, social studies, dynamic dolphin, good citizenship, and PE. Eliana Talton. Eliana is receiving certificates in science, social studies, and dynamic dolphin. Abraham Torres. Abraham is receiving certificates in science, social studies, and dynamic dolphin. Jalen Kidd. Jalen is receiving certificates in dynamic dolphin and good citizenship. And last but not least, we have Jemiah McCray. But Jemiah is receiving a Welcome to Palm Terrace Elementary School certificate. Good job. Thank you. Awesome job, Mrs. Forbes class. Excellent job, Mrs. Forbes class. Last but not least, we have Mrs. Johnson. Thank you to Mrs. Johnson's class for lining up nicely and quietly. We appreciate it. All right, first up in Mrs. Johnson's class. This is our last one. First grade, if you can give me 5, 4, 3. Thank you. This is our last class. We want to make sure everyone can hear their name. First up, we have Jacob Bush. Jacob is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, dynamic dolphin, and good citizenship. Lily Childress. Lily is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, and academic improvement. Good job. Elizabeth Dobson. Elizabeth is receiving certificates in math, social studies, science, and dynamic dolphin. London Finch. London is receiving a certificate of completion. Jackson Fisher. Jackson is receiving certificates in reading, social studies, and science. Adriana Garcia. Adriana is receiving certificates in social studies and science. Kaden Laser. Kaden is receiving certificates in math, social studies, and science. Good job. Thomas Lofties. Thomas is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, and science. First grade, if you can give me 5, please. 4. 3, Mrs. Forbes class. Thank you. Next up, we have Marcella Lowe. Marcella is receiving certificates in math, social studies, science, and dynamic dolphin. Great job. Liana Rodriguez. Liana is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, dynamic dolphin, and good citizenship. Good job. Ryan Rowe. Ryan is receiving certificates in reading, math, science, and dynamic dolphin. Jaden Santiago. Jaden is receiving certificates in math, social studies, and science. Kenneth Schwal. Kenneth is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, science, dynamic dolphin, and good citizenship. Roman Smith. Roman is receiving certificates in reading, math, social studies, and science. And then we have Callie Sanders. Callie is receiving a certificate of completion. Good job, Callie, and welcome to PTE. All right, let's give a hand to Mrs. Johnson's class.
All right, as Ms. Johnson's class is exiting, we do want to give a shout out to our first grade team. Let's give it up for Ms. Johnson right here. We have Ms. Brown. We have Ms. Russell. She is standing in for Ms. Forbes today. We have Ms. Lett. And we have Ms. Heller. Thank you all for supporting our students. We also want to let you know our winter shop is open in the media center, parents. So if you want to go visit the winter shop, we have items 25 cents to $25 in there for you to purchase. We are going to have first grade classes exit the cafe at this time. Ms. Johnson's class is exiting. Ms. Heller's class is standing up. Ms. Heller, we're going to have you exit through these doors.
Later. This week. How long was it open? How long was it open?
Miss Lett's class is standing up. Miss Ford's class is standing up as well.
You almost forgot.